Manston Airport have suffered another setback after the government revealed plans to base search and rescue helicopters there from July. They've been scrapped now. The leader of Thanet Council, Iris Johnston, says she's furious the Department and Transport Minister made no mention of this when he visited last week and promised not a stone would be left unturned in considering Manston's future. The helicopters now look set to be heading for Lydd Airport instead on the Romney Marsh. Councillor Iris Johnston is on the line with me now. Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Dominic.
When did you find out then that search and rescue helicopters wouldn't be based at Manston?
A member of the public sent me an email yesterday evening, and my understanding was that Lydd had been identified as the new place for the search and rescue. I had been to a Kent International Airport Consultative Committee meeting in December when a letter was sent by the chairman, Mr. Twyman, asking Robert Goodwell, the Minister for Aviation, where we had got to with Bristow's, and he was waiting and waiting for answers, and he then rewrote in January. And amazingly, a letter arrived today, dated the 19th of February, from John Hayes, the Secretary of State who was with me last week, saying that, no, it wasn't coming to Manston, but he wasn't giving up hope, I think. He didn't say it was going to Lydd, but the letter really wasn't telling us that Manston was very much on the cards.
But you were under the impression for all that time that they would be based there?
We had strong indications that Bristow's had been down for a visit during the time when the airport was about to close. I think they were even there since the closure. I can't guarantee what the outcome of those visits were, but throughout all of this time, when I've been talking to Sir Roger Gale, we were rather hopeful that Bristow's would come. And even, well, hopeful, but also you didn't need a fully operating airport to have the search and rescue there. You could have that service without having all of the rest that goes with it.
Although the airport site is now closed, I mean, that would make it a bit difficult to land helicopters there, I guess, wouldn't it?
Well, a helicopter needs a very small space, and as long as you kept the radar, but again, last week...
Well, the radar went, didn't it?
Well, there you go. Last week, I had information that some radar, no, there was more radar left, but another one that's been funded by the wind farms is about to be removed, and that was supposed to be there till 2017. It does seem a problem to get information, and when the Minister came down last week, we had a very cordial discussion, but there was obviously no new information.
So he didn't say about the helicopter coming there at that point?
He didn't say about it coming. He didn't say it was going anywhere else.
So didn't that lead you to the impression that it's probably not going to happen?
No, there wasn't. It wasn't that kind of conversation. He was coming down, I think, because he promised on the 11th of December that he would come to see us in February.
Forgive me, but didn't you just ask him? Is it coming here?
That wasn't what... sorry, Dominic. The meeting was really from the day before I got a message he was on his way. He came down very much to talk to me briefly about where we were at with the paperwork from River Oak that's been sent to his civil servants, which they are looking at. We discussed the select committee, and privately we had another discussion after that meeting, but I think he was down particularly to see the Conservative candidate for Ramsgate.
Now, Roger Gale is South Thanet MP, of course.
North Thanet is Roger.
Yeah, sorry, North Thanet. You're absolutely right. I'm already getting myself ready for the election, I guess. Thanet North MP, Sir Roger Gale, he told us no decision has been made on where the helicopter will be based. And he, to be honest, he blames you, says you are to blame for Bristow having to look elsewhere. Let's hear.
I'm sorry, Nick. Council that has caused the uncertainty, and I don't blame Mrs. Johnston for this. It's Thanet Council's cabinet that has taken the decision at this stage not to go for a compulsory purchase order. That obviously has created uncertainty and delay over the future of the airfield, and that in turn has meant that Bristow's had to look for somewhere else.
So in terms of you being the council, saying the council is causing all the problems here?
Dominic?
Yes?
When Mrs. Gloag announced in March last year that she was going to close the airport, Sir Roger quite rightly set up a task force to see what could be done to save the airport. On the 15th of May, the very day that I became the leader of the council, the airport officially closed. cut a long story short, the residents and people like myself who want to see the airport open wondered how we could go about it. Well, we met with everybody. I met with Mrs. Gloag. We did all of that. But now, just remember, you have asked the question.
No, well, I did ask I did ask a question, and you're not really answering it. I asked sorry, Iris Johnston. No, Iris Johnston. I'm asking you a question in reaction to Sir Roger Gale. That's all I'm asking for.
I'm answering
it's a very
in
long
reaction.
Answer.
It's exactly the answer. We were asked to CPO the airport. We said we couldn't do so without a back-to-back investor. At the end of August, we had not found a back-to-back investor. We extended the time to the 11th of December, which is more than any council would do, and we did not find a back-to-back investor that met our due diligence.
Is it time, if you don't mind me, because we need to move on, but is it time to let it go?
No, it's not time to let it go, because the government is describing Manston as a national asset of strategic importance. I've been to the Select Committee where there is still very strong support for Manston Airport.
But no one wants to go there. Even the helicopter service doesn't want to be there now.
I'm sorry, I think this is probably quite good fun for you, but it's actually not good. It's not good fun.
You are the leader of a council who I'm asking some pointed questions about the future of an airport.
I'm trying to tell you, and you're not allowing me to answer your question.
We've been talking about it for 7-8 minutes. I'm asking you just to be succinct, if you don't mind, because obviously you appreciate we have to move on to other stories.
Of course, and this is a very important story for us locally. The Select Committee is still deliberating on small regional airports. The paperwork from River Oak and from the council has gone to the civil servants. Those responses are not complete, so therefore there was no answer from John Hayes last week in his visit with me. The information about Bristow's was very sudden yesterday, and I saw the letter that was sent to the chairman of Kayak, and he'd been asking for some months about what is happening. As far as we know, it is the MP for the Lydd area who's telling people it's going to Lydd.
Okay.
Nobody else.
Iris Johnston, thank you for being with us. We appreciate your time. Goodbye. Iris Johnston, councillor there, Thanet District Council, in this evening's other business news.